And we are live. We finally worked out all the kinks. Hello, America
What is
and
going
the rest of the
on?
world. What's
Let's
going
go.
on? This is the Gatekeepers Podcast. We are your hosts, Dan
Billy?
and today we have a special guest. We're going to go ahead and bring them on in here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Colby Baylee.
And I'm Baylee Bierman. You can say what company you're with?
Yeah, we're with Corridor Residential Fencing Co.
There we go.
out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So, how long you been in the fence world?
We started our business a little over 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And then what got you into the fence world?
So I was in a different industry before this. I was in the restaurant industry. I'm a chef by college education and trade, I guess, for most of my life. And then, COVID happened and the restaurant industry didn't seem so secure anymore. And we had a huge storm come through that had like 140-mile-an-hour straight line winds, which pretty much leveled like 85-90% of our fences in town. So insurance wasn't giving us shit for our fence we needed for our dogs, and we were getting quotes that were ridiculous. So I just kind of slapped our fence up that we needed with what I could get. And my buddy that was a roofer was like, "Oh, dude, you did this." He's like, "You should start a fencing company." So that was pretty much all it took for me to kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
You did more with your grandpa when you were
Yeah.
younger and stuff.
yeah,
That's so crazy because like that is so in line with my like actual
That's about-
like
yeah.
actual whole thing of how I got into fencing was, I was a bartender and server at restaurants for years and years and years, just like we were on the opposite ends. You were a cook, I was a bartender server,
I mean,
Um,
I was a bartender server as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I had already been doing it on the side, like as a weekend warrior for like a year and a half, and COVID hit, and I took one of the unemployment checks, and I took all of that, and that's how I started my fence company. I took one, and that's
Yeah.
it. It was just like, all right,
Exactly.
free money. They're gonna give
Time
away
to
free
go.
money
Yeah.
that we have to just pay like a little bit of taxes on, and that's how I'm here today. So that's fucking crazy that it's such a similar vibe with that. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Me and my grandpa went, and when we were kids, we go around in Iowa, and these farmers would want to get rid of their old barns, so they'd be like, "Oh, you come tear it down, haul it, whatever." So we'd go reclaim all the old wood and the old tin roofing and stuff we could, and we build birdhouses and benches and all kinds of stuff. So I had been working with, wood and tools and stuff in his shop since I was a kid, so it wasn't like a totally necessarily foreign world for me. So there's a lot of similarities too, I find with the restaurant industry in this. It's all working with people and providing a service. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, 100%.
But so moving forward, like, what is your absolute favorite style of fence to put in the ground?
usually wood. I would say that
Wood.
probably
Yeah, same.
because it's our biggest seller. Wood the last 3.5 years, it's been 65-70% of our business, and then everything else kind of fills in the gaps. So we have the most practice with it, so obviously it's our most favorite because it's kind of just muscle memory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always great when like the client comes out of their house and like when we're building the cedar privacy fence, they'll come out and they just like take a big breath in. They're like, it smells so good because
It
everyone
does.
loves cedar.
Yeah.
It's great.
It
Yeah.
does. It
Yeah,
does.
it's a little harder here where we're located in Florida to get cedar.
Mm.
You can get it. It's just
That's hella expensive.
it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I haven't had an opportunity to build a cedar fence just yet. It's all been pine.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous, man. Kind of
It
jealous.
Smells great. Whenever we did that, like cedar split rail, like 6-7 months ago, like every time I had to cut one of the rails, I was like, man, that smells so good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It
It's
smells
beautiful. And
so
it's gorgeous.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Couple
so
bunks of that shop.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude, I'm so
I
jealous
wish.
of that.
It's the best air freshener.
Yeah, right. Best air freshener.
Yeah.
But how did Bailey become this badass installer that I see on Facebook all the time? And I don't
Yeah.
really like follow her per se. I follow you, but every photo I see, it's like Bailey's running pickets. I'm like, okay, all right,
Up
like,
there kicking ass with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
It actually started as like, it definitely started as like a joke. Cause I was like, hey, do you need help like hanging tickets? Cause like there was a time where we had to like fire a bunch of people, and so we didn't have enough help. There was obviously like labor shortages everywhere, labor issues everywhere. And so there was a time where I was like, hey, you want me to come help hang pickets? And we just kind of laughed about it. And then like a couple days, weeks, whatever later, he was like, actually, do you want to help hang pickets? And so that's when it started.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
exactly
much.
what started. And then I
Yeah.
just kind of kept, and like I was still working full time in the restaurant industry when we had started
wow.
our company.
Wow.
And I
okay.
like, yeah, I had still been working full time probably the first like year, maybe half a year that we
Year
had
and a
started.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And
was a struggle to get her to go
yeah.
part time and then one day a week to
Yeah.
do this.
And now I'm full time doing whatever I need to do to build fences, I guess. It's really fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's a blast. I started in wireless, actually, oddly enough, of all things, completely separate. Dealing with cell phones all day in the cold AC, nice and comfortable, cozy job. But I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I went to school for mechanical engineering originally, and one day I didn't like the position I was in, and I just quit that same day and started doing fabrication. And that's where I found myself into the fencing world, was welding up gate frames, welding up different things. Like we have a pre-stained dunk tank, and it's 20 foot long, made of these big old oil barrels. And I welded that up so we can stain pickets beforehand, like pre-stain them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
next thing you know it, I'm sitting there on the fence line installing fences, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's funny you
We-
say that because like
We've got a picket eater. It's a 10-foot long.
Mhm.
It's a 50-gallon drums cut in half and then welded all together. But
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a smaller one. It's a pre-stained tank.
Mhm.
Yeah.
love it.
so what's even funnier is how Dan even fell into this position, and like as you know,
it's good.
like Corey and I are partners. Okay, so like we are partners and we co-own like Gentry Farmhouse. And what was it, like a year ago now?
Yeah,
How long has it been? How
it's
long has it
been I think January is a year,
Okay.
something like that.
All right. So it was so crazy because like him and I, after everybody leaves, most of the time we have little, business conversations of like, oh my God, like, bro, like look what I found today. And I'd be like, dude, like, look what I found today. So he comes to me that night after I got back with the crew and we had already done our like truck checks, like dropping trailers, all that stuff. And he's like, dude, we need to find a way to cut our gate prices down, because we are using metal frame gates and we were ordering from Master Halco, and it just got to a point where it was like we're doing enough of them to actually do it on our own and actually make money off of the gates instead of just selling them at cost because they're so damn expensive. So we had that conversation,
Yeah.
and like we didn't even think anything of it, and literally the next morning he comes to work and he was like, dude, I got some shit for you. I was like, no way. He was like, so I'm like getting out of my truck or like doing whatever he's doing, and my neighbor comes home and he has a welding hood, and I was like, hey bro, you weld? And apparently
It was the
Dan-
most like wild thing, because he I'm just walking up to my house from my car, and I got my hood with me, and welding coat, like the flame resistant coat and everything, and he was just sitting outside on the phone or something, and he stops me. He's like, hey, you weld? And I'm like, I knew him because I had just moved up here, like, not too far before then. And I'm like, I kind of know him. And, like, he built the fence for my parents. And they were like, oh, you got to meet this guy. And it just so happens to be my next door neighbor. And they're like, he's just like you. Like, he reminds me of you so much. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, everybody with, like, you know, kind of longer hair and tattoos always reminds me, always reminds you of me. And so we got to chit-chatting and everything. And he's like, you want to do some work for me on the side? And I'm like, I guess so. And at the time, I was kind of finishing up on my way out from a fabrication apprenticeship with another shop, and was like ready to pull that trigger and starting my own business. And then that happened, and I was like, well, it looks like I need to get an LLC and, you know, get my shit straightened out. And next thing you know, fabrication and design was built, and
here you are welding cantilever gates now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the cantilever ones are fun.
Yeah, like it
sucks to move them though.
It just exploded. Like,
yeah,
I was all on board the minute that he told me. I was like, oh my god, yes, you found a welder. Hire him yesterday, please. So, you know, we got him on board, and he was on board for eight months. You've been on the fence line for what, like 2?
A little bit more than that.
No, like 2.5, 3 months.
Yeah.
So
a little bit more.
So we had almost the same situation that y'all went through. We cleaned house about a month and a half ago. We made some hard choices, and I love these people to death as people, but as a business owner, it was the right choice to make. We let go pretty much all of our installation crew,
except for you,
except for me.
Put it all on Billy.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Exact same for us.
And then about a month after we did that, our office manager / production manager just up and quit on us. So like, it was like, oh, Dan, you are now the social media, marketing, advertising, sales, and the installation guy as well, buddy.
And the fabricator.
And the fabricator. So,
I got a lot of hats now.
So
it just kind of all skyrocketed.
That was fun. That was fun.
So in that same aspect, like you said, you guys let go of a lot of staff and had to restart. And sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. Tell me how that process has been, kind of where you guys have gone and how you've overcome that. Because when you let go of a lot of staff, like, you're very short-handed, and when it comes to installs, being very short-handed sometimes can help productivity, sometimes it can hurt it. Tell me your experiences with that, man. Like, how has it been for both of you?
So our first year we got to where we had 2 crews running, and then fast forward to the next year, things come through and come to light, and you realize what people are doing when you're not there. So it was, the beginning of our second year, we kind of really let everyone go. And then I was working by myself for, 6 weeks. And then we finally got some guys to start, but it was kind of just like a revolving door of people, because my mentality is I can teach everyone how to build a fence, but I can't teach everyone character, right? So,
absolutely.
100%. Yes, sir.
I can teach you how to use power tools and use a tape measure, but I can't teach you to want to show up to work on time and, actually work hard and stay off your phone and not call in sick 3 days a week and stuff like that,
Oh, God.
So, our second year, we went through a bunch of guys still, just for trying to find people to kind of stick to that culture, and then this year, it's been us, and then this young high school kid that he's a senior now, but he's worked for us for all 3 years, and then these other 2 guys. And
that kid's a beast.
He is
a straight beast.
He was just a little 16-year-old 15-year-old when he started with us, but now it's like he shows up on the job site and he's got his sleeves ripped off and he's like this big, like, strong, like, football kid, and it's like he just works too,
Yeah.
and he he almost intimidates dudes twice his age too sometimes. They're like, shit, like I gotta keep up with that, and it's like, yeah, dude, and that's just a teenage kid, But
Absolutely.
this year we've definitely had some dudes that have stuck to the culture and stuck around and see this for what it is. We're trying to do something special in our community and not just show up and build fences and be done with it.
Yeah. One of the
and that's the best part of it too.
Yeah, and so for those of you guys watching, they can only hear me on his mic, but you guys are getting the recording on this mic. So I'm kind of trying, just for everybody watching, it's weird. We're still working out a lot of kinks. This is our first live interview, and we're figuring it out. But with that being said, one of the things that working in the wireless industry that I had with managing teams, with managing staff, and especially on the sales side of things, because it's all sales at that point. And I was profit sharing manager over there for 17 years in total in that industry. And culture is definitely key.
It's the biggest thing behind
if you
a
are
business.
Not bought in, I don't want you in any way, shape, or form. So when you got these young bucks that don't have back issues like me, I've been in motorcycle accidents, car accidents. I used to race. My body has been through a lot. But when you get these little young bucks right out of high school and they're making good money, they're ready to hustle. They don't have any back problems. They're not tired. We just hired on a new guy
one right now.
Yeah, we just hired on a new guy, super young, and he's ready.
I worked his ass into the dirt today.
I bet you did. I have never worked with somebody that could outwork Billy. Never worked with somebody. I'm not saying there isn't anybody, but I've never personally worked with anyone that will outwork Billy. Like he is a monster, and hated on TikTok.
Oh, TikTok!
I have to mention that every time.
Yeah, I've seen those production numbers. I know he does some shit. I've seen it.
Yeah, TikTok hates me though. It's all right.
Yeah, he put up like a whole panel of pickets, and
it was 1 minute and 15 seconds if we're being honest.
He didn't even know I was recording it though.
I mean, Colby, you even commented on like the original video. You were like, I mean, I know you're going for speed, but quit throwing your nail gun. I was like, yeah, I mean, fuck it.
Everyone roasted him for throwing that.
Oh, dude, the level was the worst.
The level was so bad.
Oh my god.
But like the eye doesn't lie. A level's there to check it. They're not crazy expensive.
They're not crazy expensive.
If it gets out of whack, you just buy another one.
I mean, that's how I feel with like Streamline. I even told the new guy today. He was like pulling it out, and he was all like, it was all tangled up. He was like, should I just cut it? I was like, yeah, cut that motherfucker. Cut it right there and throw that shit away, and then retie it. Like I was like, we've had this thing for like 6 months now. It's got us $10 use out of it.
Yeah.
Just cut it, throw it away.
It's not worth the hassle.
But
you gotta tell me that every time too. I'm a bad offender of that.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
But on that note, for you guys, in terms of abusing tools like Billy does, jokes aside, what on the fence line when you are doing your installs, what are some tools that you guys love, tools that you guys hate, tools that you guys absolutely cannot live without? How does your process go in terms of tools?
So we started dry setting all of our posts, and then we switched to dry packing, and then at the beginning of this year we've done almost 95% pounding posts. So our post pounder is something we couldn't do without at this point, because a bad day of pounding posts is way better than
absolutely.
A good day of digging is better than a bad day of pounding posts.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we've got a little beaver, and it just sits and collects dust now. But
we just sold.
We
both
started
of ours.
we started as DeWalt folks because I literally started my company with a couple of hand tools and a DeWalt impact driver in my last unemployment check, So
Yep.
I bought, it was cheaper than Milwaukee or any of the other brands, so I got all DeWalt stuff, and thankfully someone stole all of our DeWalt stuff, so we got the chance to rebuy all new Milwaukee stuff with our insurance money.
Yeah, that was
So we use all
fucking nightmare.
predominantly Milwaukee stuff, but I don't know.
For
How
me,
does that go?
for me,
How does
my
that go? How does that go with the
What's that?
like with the Milwaukee stuff? Because I'm a like black and yellow till I die type guy.
I would say for the most part, 90% of the stuff I ran into, like Sawzalls, like both DeWalt and Milwaukee Sawzalls shit out are ridiculous for what they should. But everything else, I think the Milwaukee stuff takes a little bit better of abuse because like the first year and a half, 2 years, these guys didn't like see the fact that like, oh, someone's spending thousands of dollars to make sure we have all the tools we need to do our job, and they just like throw them in the mud or forget them out in the rain on a job site or whatever. So we went through a lot of things we shouldn't have had to go through in 18 months, our first, year and a half. But I think the Milwaukee batteries and the last longer and do better with temperature change as far as really hot and really cold, and then the tools last a little longer. But we also use there's the specialty tools we use. We don't fabricate or make our own for the most part. We do a lot of the Mr. Fence tools.
Nice.
But yeah, my favorite is when we do the wood privacy fences, like my staples are our straightaway.
Yeah.
Which is like that big blue angle iron that goes across the top, right? That's
Absolutely.
my favorite with the buddy picket. That it's 5-inch reveal every single time. You don't have to mess with a cheater board or anything like that.
Yeah.
Those are my two things that I couldn't live without.
Now, do you have the new version of the straightaway that does the board on board?
Yeah, so we've got both. We've got the old one.
How do you like that? Because I can't stand it.
I prefer the old one.
Same.
The new one, you've got to put carriage bolts in it to get it to hold tight to the
And it always
fence.
falls off the back.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the only thing is that with the new one, you can use the buddy picket. I don't know if you guys have that or not.
We have
do.
the
See,
buddy picket.
Yep.
I like using the buddy picket because it saves me time. I don't have to worry about carrying around a drill with me, doing a cheater board on the fence, whatever. That's my I like the old straightaway because it was sucked tight to the boards.
Absolutely.
But the new one with the buddy picket, I kind of have to, take it, what's better, what's in that situation.
I also think I'm heavy-handed whenever it comes to nailing, because I just slam them things up, man.
I haven't personally knocked it off. I've seen you knock it off, of the top, countless times.
Oh, dude, it is literally sitting in the shop.
you're
I even asked you today.
Hey,
I said, "Hey,
can you run around and grab it?
Can you please bring me the OG silver straightaway, please,
Yeah.
today?" And he brought it to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just got done.
I am done with this thing.
I had gotten done welding up a gate frame for the job he was on today, and went to go bring that out to him. And he's like, "Please bring me the OG silver one because I need that." And then he gave the new kid the V3.
The new kid never touched a picket gun because he was so slow loading out pickets that I caught up to him 5 times.
He never got a chance to. I thought you meant you caught up to him while he was
No, bro. I caught up to him offloading pickets. I even let him get a whole line ahead of me.
I'm trying to get this straightaway set up, man.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I let him get a
Hasn't had a chance
whole
to
line
use it.
ahead of me putting out pickets. I was like, look, once you're done setting out pickets, I want you to start on this very last line. He didn't get done setting out pickets until I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. He was like, "Oh, so am I gonna run pickets?" I was like, "No, it is 3:50. It's time to go home."
Yeah, because it started getting dark now. Daylight savings time switched.
Yeah.
It's
for real.
dark by 4:45.
Yeah,
It's
so-
rough.
Oh.
Yeah. But on that note, that's challenging for the kid. Breaking them in, carrying all those pickets out without a bobcat. And what's your most difficult things on the line?
For us, well, it's not as bad now that I've got Bailey, than someone I can fully trust. But for me, it's trusting people to work when I'm not there, or even when she's not there. But usually, the way we run things now is, we've got 2 or 3 guys, so we kind of divide forces and work with it that way.
Mm-hmm.
What
But
what's y'all's sweep like spot for crew numbers?
honestly, like I said, our first year I had 2 crews going, and that was, I think we expanded too quick. But there was so much work, it was hard not to,
Right.
because
Yeah.
90% of the fences were leveled. So, but I think just 2 crews of like 2 to 3 people on both
Yeah.
crews right now is enough to manage and make sure all the work that is getting done is good, and we don't have to redo it.
I think three guys on a crew is perfect number.
Yeah.
It takes care of all the slop. We've added 4 and we've had 5, and I'm just like, dude,
You got a lot of people sitting around at that point.
absolutely.
You got a lot of people
Yeah.
just sitting around doing nothing. Once you
It
get
would
to
have to
4 4 people in somebody's yard is a little excessive.
Yeah.
Most of the time when there's 4 people in the yard and I was there, I'm running out to my car or the truck, and I'm grabbing my camera equipment. I'm taking photos. I'm taking videos. I'm not touching the shit because I don't need to, because if I do, I'm just going to be in the way at that point.
Yeah.
It's
And
easier
even when
for
it's
people
just me and
milk
you.
it.
What's that?
It's easier for people to milk it too, and
Yeah.
be like, oh, well, there's 4 of us every day, so I don't necessarily need to bring my A game, because they're not used to cranking out a fence with 2 guys or 3 guys
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah, and it's like with me wearing all the hats, marketing director, media, and all that, and then also installation and sales and yada yada yada, and welding and fabricating. I'm kind of a little bit of everything. So at that point, I realized like I'm not useful doing anything that they're doing. I'm just gonna get in the way, or someone else is gonna milk it. I'm gonna do all the work. Let me do the other job and take photos and take videos. And I got some badass.
You do it, dude.
I got some badass film from that.
You do a wonderful job doing all that video and stuff. I don't mean to like toot your own horn, bro, but like seriously, like some of the shit that you come and show me, you're like, look what I did. I'm like, the fuck? How did you do that?
You made me look good.
Oh, I got AI to do it. Like,
Oh,
I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
AI
Like,
is my best friend.
it's fucking great.
Yeah.
So moving on, Bailey, tell me about the women of the FWA, because I am very intrigued in this, because I fully support what you're doing, like with that, because I am all about the FWA. I'm not trying to down any of the fence, like groups or organizations, but I do fully, wholeheartedly believe that the FWA is out there for the installers first in mind. So give me a little bit of background of like what you guys are doing. Like, you don't have to give me like any like trade secrets or anything, but just I am very intrigued with this.
Yeah, so I kind of got recruited into this by Susan K. Worley. A lot of people know her, love her. She's the best.
Yes.
She texted me one night. We were like out to eat, and she's like, "Do you want to be a part of this? Please say yes." And I was like, "Okay, cool, fun."
Can't say no to that.
Yeah, right.
And then so I hopped on these meetings, and it's been like absolutely crazy. Like, we went to the fence show in Vegas, obviously, and supported them. It was so fun. It was such a good show, and I'm very excited for next year. And
we were one of the first people to have the FWA logo on our company vehicle, I think.
Yes, yeah, we got the FWA logo on our vehicle. And it's really funny because we put it on our vehicle, and he's like, "Oh shit, I should ask Brian if I could do that." And so we had it on our car, and then he like messaged Brian. He's like,
"Well, no, it was on the layout. It wasn't on the car yet."
Okay.
Yeah, it was in the layout.
Sure.
For the wrap,
and so we asked him, but he was so proud of it. He loved it. It's great. But no, like the women of FWA, it's all about like we really kind of set in our roots like at the fence show. Like we've had meetings since, oh my God, I don't even know, May I think I started my first meeting like May or June of this year, and then obviously the fence show is in August, so it's kind of a ramp up to then. But we've been doing like at least monthly meetings, maybe like every other week meetings, and of just like our leadership group. And that's like me and Susan and Veronica from SWI, and Heather King is involved. And
She's great, by the way. She's great.
She is great. I got to meet her in person for the first time, and she's
Did you?
so bubbly.
Did you?
All
She
great.
is so bubbly. She's great. Like I went to like her house and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I messed this up." I was like, "Girl, there are 50 people here." I was like, "You are perfect.
So
Just chill." But yeah, man, she's great.
Yeah. But like our whole thing is like just being inviting to everybody and being a resource for women in this industry, whether you're an installer or an owner of a fence company, or you're on the HR side of things, or just like in the offices scheduling, doing estimating, whatever it is, even if you're a wife or a girlfriend to someone in the fence business, because you're involved no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, like you're
100%.
involved. There's no question about it. You're gonna get the jargon and lingo, and you're gonna know what's going on. So that's what the Women of FWA is about, is being a resource for all of the women who are a part of the fence industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have some really cool education stuff coming up. We've started to do Facebook Lives.
Bailey's gonna start wearing a GoPro.
I opened my stupid fucking mouth today at a meeting. We had a meeting earlier today, actually, and at the end they're like, anything else? And then I think Susan was like, hey, if you guys have any like videos in your camera roll, just let me know. We'll post them to TikTok. And I was like, I opened my stupid mouth and I was like, it started as a joke in my head, but I thought about maybe getting a GoPro on like job sites, because they don't really see that, And like every single one of these women was like, okay, what's your Venmo? I'm going to support this GoPro fund. And they literally all like $20 to get a GoPro so I could get like, like on the job video and stuff like that.
Oh, that is so awesome.
That's so great.
It's really fucking cool. I'm very grateful to be able to be a part of this
That's awesome.
group.
Heck yeah, and it is making leaps and bounds. I mean, like the FWA has been out for like a year and a half, something like that. And like I signed up as soon as it got going, and I'm completely on board with it. But like, man, they got health insurance, they got all sorts of stuff, and now we're having the
women
like
of FWA. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like.
And the other thing I do like a lot where you said like, it's not only for the people out there doing what you're doing and busting ass and realistically outworking half of these people out here. It's also for the people in the office, the people on the sales side, the people not necessarily on the field, but also for the significant others of the people on the field. Because Billy can agree with me on this one. Both of our wives are very, very annoyed with us talking about fences.
Oh, dude, my wife was done.
Everywhere we drive.
Was done. She'd be like, yeah, you installed that one. I already know. Because I'm like, babe, look. She's like, yeah, I see it. I don't care anymore. I'm like,
yep.
Look at that shit. That's look at that. That's got their sign on. See, that's their work. Yeah.
Look at that one. That one looks like shit. Oh, damn, that one's really cool.
She was all in for like the first year and a half, and now she's just like,
Yeah.
So
see, I created a psycho, so I lucked out.
Yeah.
I love it though.
So I will say we actually I just ran an estimate yesterday. I was driving down this road, and I saw a giant 40-foot hole in a fence.
Are we gonna get into this fence?
I'm not gonna get into the fence.
Okay.
No.
I was like, let's not get into the politics.
It's gonna definitely raise up some politics if I get into what fence it was. But there was a 40-foot hole in a fence, and I was like, oh shit, that's bad.
Yeah.
And so my wife is like, yo, drop off a flyer. Do you have a flyer in your car? I'm like, yeah, of course I have a flyer in my car. I always got them in my car. So I slam the brakes, bust a U-turn, turn around, go to this house, drop off a flyer. I just stick it in the door. And then we left. We went on our merry way. This was Sunday. Monday we got a call, and I went out there for an estimate. Insurance is obviously paying for it.
Absolutely.
But insurance only pays for the damage portions. And he's like, you know what? This fence was not built right.
I want to do the whole thing. Let's see if
this is why.
Hey, so I didn't want to get into it, but Chris Steele can attest to that because whenever it was built and it was advertised on our Pensacola contractors page, boy, Chris Steele and the builder of that fence got into it hard. Yeah. And I was just like popcorn emoji. I was like, let me just watch this conversation between the two because I love Chris. Chris is he's our next door neighbor and he's a friend to me, and
he's a cool guy. He's a very cool guy.
Bro, he's the reason why I'm sitting in this chair right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is one of the most nicest, humble people that I think I have ever met in my fence career, and he is the reason why I am on the path that I am today. I mean, dude, Colby, you remember your first fence, right? It's fucking trash, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking
it's
garbage, isn't it? Yeah. I have to drive by my first fence every fucking morning. And, I got, what?
Was it a neighbor?
No, it was a couple neighborhoods down, but I mean, it's still on the way to the interstate for me.
Yep.
So I was all gung ho, and I was like, oh man, I just fucking built this great ass fence, not knowing what I'm doing. YouTube University, posted it on our Pensacola contractors page, and I got fucking drugged through the mud. I mean, just straight up humbled. And you know what? Chris Steele was the only one to privately message me and be like, hey man, that fence looks like shit, but here's what you can do about it. You can do this, this, and this, and you can do this, and this, and you can fix this, and you can actually make some money. And fucking hats off to you, Chris. I absolutely thank you to this day for what you did, reaching out to me and saying that stuff. But that's what this whole thing is about. Is
it's the whole point of the podcast, too.
That's the whole point of the podcast. Is it
that's the difference between collaboration and competition, bro. Is the dudes that can see someone that's passionate and be like, they're just a little misguided, as opposed to dudes like, oh, you're a fucking worthless piece of shit because your fence isn't perfect,
And there's way too many houses for us to fight over it.
Absolutely.
So let's all build each other up. Whoa, let's not smack our mic. Let's all build each other up.
You finally had the first mic mishap?
I had the first mic mishap.
Because I've had three. This is our 4th episode, and I haven't messed my mic up a single time yet so far.
Put the air horn in there.
Got close.
Do you guys hear the sound effects when I hit them? I don't think they hear them.
They said no.
Do you guys don't hear them?
DJ sound effect.
So on the live video, for the people watching live and listening to this post recording, with the system that we use, with them being interviewed, they don't hear these noises. So
and
I
mind
can have
you,
some
this was thrown together at dude, we've been working our ass off lately.
Yeah.
Have had no time. I went to sleep at 8:15 last night. He texted me at 8:30. I didn't see it till 5:30 in the morning.
I wasn't awake long enough to know if you texted me back. If you did,
you were like, hey bro, you got 30 seconds to talk. And I looked at it 5:15. I was like, I don't think you want to call me, or I don't think you want me to call you right now. But I have 30 seconds right now. But
this time zone change has been.
Oh, dude, I was ready to go to bed on Sunday at 7:15. I asked my wife, I was like, hey, you about ready to lay down? She was like, no.
That's bedtime,
7 o'clock. What are we, 80 years old?
I was like, damn, you are absolutely right.
Yep.
Dan?
I guess back to fencing and the interview stuff and, the whole podcast and whatever. couple questions more, but let's first start off with like, where can everybody find you? Everybody listening at home or watching the podcast or whatever it may be, where can they find you at?
Specifically, I post a lot of our stuff to Facebook. I've started creating reels this year more so.
Nice.
They get posted to our Facebook and Instagram. Obviously our website, but honestly, Facebook and then posting to our Instagram are the two that I'm most religious about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you guys branched out to Twitter yet? Or no, not to Twitter, because we're on Twitter right now.
Yeah, we're live streaming on Twitter because it's the
TikTok.
only thing that doesn't have a 24-hour like
TikTok.
ban on
I am
live
not
streaming.
on the TikTok very
You're not on
much.
the TikTok?
No.
Me,
it's a whole nother platform, and
yeah.
and I'm more about like this, like all the stuff being tied together. So like all the Facebook reels that I post get tied to our Facebook. So like you guys know about performance and all that stuff. I'm gonna explain that, but
Yeah.
it's just all one thing, you know. TikTok, I know it's got its place, but again, like who's going to TikTok to like find someone to buy a fence necessarily? So like at the end of the day, if I'm looking for exposure or like clicks or like traffic, like TikTok might be the answer. But if I'm like trying to target and market and like have an audience, people that are going to try and buy a fence from us someday, I feel like, you know, Facebook is the end all be all, but then, you know, Instagram and stuff too. And then Google, I've been posting a lot more Google updates, which I guess kind of like posting to your Facebook wall, if you will, on your business page.
Absolutely.
But something I didn't necessarily know of the past couple of years, but our CRM, I can schedule and generate posts and like do one post, and it'll post to like our Facebook and our Google and all of our different social platforms.
Now, do you use an SEO company for Google?
No, so our CRM is Thrive, and they have some SEO stuff, but we've both focused more on our organic stuff. So it's like our website having the right keywords, soliciting reviews and getting a lot of reviews, and then just everything, you know, tying together. And you know, I'm not an SEO specialist, but
Neither
they
am I.
know they know how all that shit works as far as like the keywords, and then like making sure you don't have like errors on your website and stuff like that. So we've been focusing on like making our website better, and then like adjusting that, and then like I said, posting on our Google and stuff like that, as opposed to like throwing thousands of dollars at SEO or Google ads for something that as soon as you stop paying, it's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, and I'm with that. Like I was there too. Like I don't know anything how Google works, but you know, we did find one, and we pay like $300 a month for like the SEO words. And I will say the phone started ringing a lot more after it did get established. But not just that. What are your thoughts on door hangers and actually like putting in the legwork to get some calls back? There we go. There we go.
I've put boots on the ground. We know those weeks where it was those months where it was, you know, 2-3 weeks of work and you know, a week or 10 days of crickets. Okay. You know, it was boots on the ground and let's go canvas new neighborhoods or new developments or whatever. So we've hung like 1,000 of those this year. We've also got some for our snow removal company too. And then what we do is when we start a new project, we do, you know, 2 or 3 houses on either side of the our client's house, and then a couple across the street as well.
Hell yeah.
No, that's definitely the flyers, the reaching out to the neighbors when you're installing something. Especially you guys do driven system, we do driven system as well. A lot of people peek their head out the window or whatever it may be, and they're like, "What the heck is going on next door?"
Ding 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 ding.
What is that?
Ignore that.
It really helps out that, like, you know, not as many people are doing things that way. And then you start to explain the benefits and everything else, and they're like, "Oh my god, you got a second to like tell me how much it would be for my house?" And like we were on a job just 2-3 days ago, and I had left Billy with the new hire, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna run next door real quick, and
like, go get that money, baby.
Go run an estimate.
Go get it.
And
go get it.
we're already doing the side fence. It was the neighbor, but it divided the two properties. We're already doing that side of their fence because they split it. It's on the one we were doing it on their property, but it's, you know.
She wants her back line done, basically.
Yeah, and she just wanted the back line done. The other two definitely needed to be redone, but she didn't want to.
Hey, money's money.
But no, it's just estimate on the back line. And it's that simple, and it's, you know, being out there and saying like, hey, here's a flyer, we're just drop it on the little door, put a little door hanger on there. They're gonna see your trucks, they're gonna see you doing the work, they're definitely gonna hear you.
Yeah. I
They're
see
gonna
a
give you a
lot of
call.
guys. I see a lot of guys on all the defense pages hating on door hangers, and I'm like, you guys must have really just not tried these. Like,
Yeah.
Well, dude, the way I look at it is if you hang a door hanger, and even if they look at it, okay, they've seen you. And then if they look at it and they tell 1 or 2 people, those 1,000 door hangers you just hung turn into 2,000 or 3,000 people of exposure.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually, you know, it just spider webs from there. So, and I know the other big dogs in town aren't putting door hangers on people's doors. They aren't using, you know, yard signs. So.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I don't know what it costs where you guys are, but I mean, couple $100 for a couple thousand of them.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
You book
It's dirt
one
cheap.
job, it's paid for itself.
It's
Exactly.
dirt cheap. It is absolutely dirt cheap. It is something that like 100 times over, it's worth it.
I always educate the guys too. It's like I don't necessarily tell them like, hey, like ring the doorbell, like pester them and hang it. But I'm like, if they're like watering their plants or they're like out there, don't just hang it on their door and walk away. I'm like, you know, talk to them. So that gives them like gives them an experience. So like if they're not necessarily super comfortable talking to people or they don't know what to say, it gives them a chance to kind of step outside their comfort zone and kind of, you know, get over that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a great icebreaker. You just walk up, you're like, hey, I'm passing out flyers. It's for like a fence. I see you don't have a fence. I mean, you can either take it or leave it. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, let me see what you got to offer.
Let me talk about it.
Yeah.
That's how we got that other one with the guy with the pool.
Yeah. But so as far as driving post, I know you said that you've been doing it for about a year. What's your thought on that? I know you, I follow you and I see you've been pretty like experimental. Like you're not all about using like the inserts and like stuff like that. Like I want to hear some back nine stuff on that.
No, like, you know, I feel like some of this I-beam system and stuff, it's like a lot of guys, they have to do ornamental aluminum. So I get that, but there's more than one way around that. But we install almost exclusively ornamental iron. So if we do, you know, ornamental fence, it's steel, so we can just drive the square posts without having to donut them or do any of the extra stuff. And then for wood fence, you know, we do almost exclusively postmasters. A lot of guys, I think, switched to reinventing the wheel and doing this extra stuff because they couldn't get postmasters or whatever. So we do that for our wood fences, 10-foot postmaster plus. And then for our vinyl, we do Schedule 40 chain link posts with the plastic 5x5 collars. In a perfect world, we'd have a hydraulic setup, but our skid loaders hasn't been up and running, so there's no sense in us, you know, getting something that we could run off a power bank in our skid loader when we've been able to do what we need to with our gas pounders.
Absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're using the Rhino and the Ready driver, right?
Yep. We bought a secondhand Rhino driver, and then when we use that to knock out a dozen jobs or so. We bought a new ready driver kit, and the Rhino kind of just a backup and a second driver if we want to have two people pounding, but we use the ready almost all day every day.
Yep.
Nice.
We've found out the hard way. It's good to have a backup driver.
Absolutely is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes down. You're out of work for a little bit.
Yeah. We rented the cheap Chinese bullshit post driver pounder from a rental store a few times.
Yeah.
So
So how's your experience been with those two machines? I personally have not used either one of those.
I haven't used a ready driver. I've used Rhino. But...
Okay.
Being that we do exclusively postmasters for our wood system, and we do mostly wood. I really like the ready drivers postmaster adapter. It's like a solid piece of aluminum or whatever it is versus just the round adapter with a slit cut in them. Yeah. So the pounder itself feels way more stable and sturdy on the post than when you're standing up and stuff than just the adapter. There's less like mushroom out and stuff like that. I don't think we've necessarily, our ready drivers a little under a year old, so I don't think we've put it through enough for it to start breaking down yet, but it's been reliable for us. I'm also super anal and like OCD and like getting on guys' ass about shit, like checking the oil, making sure it's gassed up when you start it, checking the grease in the with the anvil and stuff. So and just not throwing shit in the back of the bed of a truck and taking off for the day,
Billy.
Hey man, that shit happens. Look,
but no, so you say you've had yours for around a year or so, and you haven't had it long enough for it to go wrong.
No,
our first one,
bro. I fucking tore that Titan to pieces.
Yeah. We shredded its insides.
I shredded the whole clutch assembly. Like, I mean, it was an easy fix, and I was changing the grease out, but I mean, that's how much it got used. Like, it got used every single day for 9 months, and I can't complain.
Every day.
I can't complain. Like, I was complaining.
Hell
yeah! Hell yeah! We made our money.
Pay for yourself.
But so, real quick, like, I want to hit on the like postmaster thing, because I've never driven a postmaster. I've used them in dig and set numerous times.
How do you like them?
How is that? How is that? Are you driving them to height, or are you cutting them afterwards?
So we do Postmaster Plus 10-foot posts. A lot of guys do the 9-foot regular Postmasters. I like the Plus because they've got a wider flange on them. I like having 10-foot because then we've got 50 plus inches in the ground when we drive it, because I always factor you might have to cut up to half an inch off of this thing if it's shitty conditions. But we really don't run into a lot of mushrooming, so we usually pound them to our ground line, and then we use the thumper and the thumper pad to adjust as needed or pull things up as needed. But we're driving the 10-foot Postmaster 5/8 in the ground to give us a little room to play with a 5-inch reveal.
Nice.
And it's an easier argument. People that are like kind of weary about like, oh, it's driven, there's no concrete, like, but it's like, we're driving this thing 52 inches, like the size of a 10-year-old child in the ground.
And see,
like
what's
your unit of measurement?
See what's the size of a foot.
Like a 10-year-old.
A 10-year-old child.
Oh
god.
That's a perfect unit of measurement.
But
just gonna say that there.
So what I find is great is like people are like, oh my god, there's no concrete, but like I was showing my wife how the driver works like 8 months ago, and we did a job and we used the I-beams. We have the license for them. We have a shitload of them. Love them to death.
40 it is.
I mean, look, like to each their own, but I was showing my wife.
What's that?
You guys are in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you guys got to worry about the salinity in the air, rotting the iron and stuff. So
Absolutely.
You almost,
We're very
you're
close
probably
to the
pushing
beach
ornamental
too.
aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so we don't have to worry about that. So we push the iron for the sturdiness.
No. We are
the last
we are
iron
straight aluminum.
We had an iron job that was like take out iron, put in aluminum, and
You could almost kick it over.
dude,
Just falling apart.
It was dangerous.
It was dangerous.
It was an apartment complex. Like, it was a commercial job, and we were ripping out all the old cast iron, and some of these things, and like some of them were around the pool too, and like that was. It was very bad. It was
all rusted, hanging off.
Some little kid gets near that, their whole foot's getting sliced open, and I hope you got your tetanus shot, buddy boy.
Yeah.
Because you getting it, if not, like.
But I actually, we made a couple mistakes on that job, and we pulled up some, like some I-beams, and I kinked them like with the Bobcat. So my wife was super curious. She was like, "How does this whole process work?" And I was like, "I'll show you." I took one. Hell yeah, I did it in the fucking front yard. It's still there. She's like, "Can you please?"
Oh, that's that one.
Hell yeah.
No, there's one single post in his front yard.
It like in the middle of the front yard. And
Dead set middle.
she asked me this weekend. She was like, "Can you please pull it up?" I was like, "Well, I mean, I have the red post puller. It's not that strong, but I'm fully confident that I can pull it out." That bitch didn't budge a fucking inch. No. I was jumping on it. I was standing on it. I was like, and this is only 3 feet in the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it fucking proves itself. It's so wild.
I've had full-size skid loaders like up on their front 2 tires trying to pull out driven posts that are like 42, 4 foot.
And then they come up and they're like crinkled.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
just
like,
totally just Postmasters.
Like, all right.
Pulling them out of the ground with no concrete, you know.
Yeah.
So, you've been working with the Postmasters for a while now. Have you guys had any, I guess, more severe weather where the Postmasters have been hit with anything more than just like a rainstorm or something like that? And like, how have they held up? How is, like, because I know Postmasters have their warranty, and that's kick ass. But like, how has it held up? Have you had to do any warranty on them? How's that been?
So we have Postmasters actually in our yard for the back section of our yard. Our lot line goes up to a hill, so like our back neighbors are uphill from us. So we have 8-foot fence on our back fence line, but it's Postmasters, and all the Postmasters jobs we've done, we've had several. They call them like sub-derecho events where it's like 80 or 100 mile an hour winds, and we haven't gotten any calls or warranties or people saying their fence failed. Our fence hasn't failed.
Yeah.
We get a lot of we have regularly like 35, 40 mile an hour wind gusts, regularly, and aren't a abnormality in Iowa. Especially in rural. In rural areas, it's even windier. So
wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no issues.
Well,
that's awesome.
I think part of it too is you have more surface area, so it's like as opposed to, say, a driven chain link post, you've only got 2 inches of surface area. With a Postmaster Plus, it's 4.5, whatever it is.
Not just that, but it's not round. It can't twist. It can't twist in the ground once
it's
once the winds like knocked it loose. It can't twist and pull up. And I think that was the biggest thing whenever I tried to pull the I-beam out, is like, if I would have put that on one of our 10.6s that we drove 6.6 in the ground, I think I would have been able to like actually pull it up.
Yeah.
But since it was the I-beam and I couldn't get it to actually twist, it was done. Like, it was completely in there.
But then again, my thought, being fabricator mindset and like the engineer mindset, if you will, is I can't find a single person that can bend a Schedule 20, Schedule 40 pipe by themselves. Because that's...
I can't bend a Schedule 20 by myself.
Well, I know you can. I've seen people try.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of people to even make a budge. We got Bobcat sitting there burning tread in the yard, at full thing, like full rev before it even started to bend over. And the Postmaster, a human can push it over. And that's where like my personal concern was with it. Obviously, with wind wise, you're not gonna have wind.
You're not gonna have something that's just straight like pushing against it solidly. It's gonna be like a wind, and it's gonna stop.
Push and bend and bow. And I know the Postmasters have they move. That's the good thing with metal, and that's also the bad thing with metal, because when customers don't understand, metal has a flexibility. It has a spring rate that's why they make springs out of metal and not wood, is because they return to their normal state unless you push them past that. How does that work out with you guys when it comes to customers?
Final walkthroughs and stuff like that. Like,
do
you have people like us who like will literally go up and be like,
yeah, they
it's not solid.
They shove it.
Yeah.
They shove the hell out of it. And it's like it's
like
supposed to do that. Like, how do you deal with that? Yeah,
is this thing sturdy or what?
it's like a gorilla, a Harambe trying to get out of his cage.
Yeah,
like,
literally,
exactly.
yeah. So I think the important part is knowing your soil conditions, and like for you guys, I'm sure you have some spots or places where it's a lot more sandy, and for us, we're dealing with a lot more really good rich black dirt, clay, because all the developers have scraped off all the black dirt, or even like, driving into like limestone and stuff like that. So we're getting way deep far enough that even if that post does have the little bit of play from the wind load, that it's not like compromising necessarily the integrity of the fence.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Well,
and I think like there's people that have done all the fun tests and all the I'm sure you've seen the videos. They get all the wind testing and they hook post up with a crane scale and do the pull, and it's the failure point of a post isn't the concrete in the ground, it's what the ground level. So
it's absolutely the post at the end of the day. So
if the wind's gonna break it and destroy it, it's gonna be the post itself and not what's necessarily in the ground.
Hell
yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, do you got anything to add? Because I think we're coming up right on like an hour. If you guys wanna throw your socials out again and all that, because we would love to have all of our followers follow you guys and do their thing with that.
Yeah, I think our biggest one is our Facebook page. It's Corridor Residential Fencing Co. That's where we keep most up to date on there.
Yeah, other than that, that's
our website's just kind of the one to buy fences, not to link up on socials.
Yeah,
but that'll suit you guys.
But at the same time, like, what's your service area? Where do you? Let's just so happen to say somebody's watching this. What's your service area? Where do you guys cover? And
so we're mostly all of the eastern Iowa corridor. So we're in kind of central eastern Iowa, but we go anywhere from an hour or plus north, an hour plus south. So that covers most of everything east of Des Moines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, it was a absolute pleasure to have you guys on, and once again, I fully applaud you guys. Baylee, keep doing what you're doing for the women of FWA. I'm absolutely for it. Colby, keep fucking working hard and fucking catching them goddamn big ass fish, bro. You catch some giant ass fish, and I'm fucking jealous because I have not caught a damn thing this year.
Dude, I had to be patient. I almost gave up, and then I started slamming those hogs at the end of the year.
Dude, there were some straight hogs that you pulled up, man. I was looking on and I was like, I'm not a freshwater fisherman, but that looks fun. That looks like a fun time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you guys keep crushing it too, dude. I've been following you guys for a minute too, and it seems like you guys can knock some shit out.
Hell yeah, man.
Have fun out here.
Well, we very much appreciate it, and you guys have a wonderful night. All right.
Indeed, and
you guys too.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
We definitely appreciate you guys being our first our first live interview too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely. First live interview.
That is awesome. We're working out all the kinks, and appreciate you guys being part of working out those kinks. You know,
And like, you guys have a wonderful night, guys. All right, thank you.
indeed.
All right, you got to
I don't know.
go back up there.
Oop, let's do that, and
Boom. All right, guys, and this is gonna pretty much end the podcast. We're not gonna do tool talk whenever we do live interviews. Just gonna
keeps it easier. Yeah.
kind of roll with the live interviews. As always, go to gatekeeperpodcast.com. Go to all of our socials. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Twitter,
links right here.
YouTube,
But
Facebook, all of it. Instagram. All of it helps you guys.
Gatekeeperpodcast.com. There's a link to all of our social channels. I'm talking this one now.
There we go.
Yeah,
And next time we won't have to do this, right?
Again, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah,
no. Hopefully, no, we will not have to do this again.
That's what I meant. Sorry. I have had to work through so many troubles with this for the last 2 days.
Hey, man. You
we
got
are
it.
figuring this out.
You got it to where it was good to go. And,
Yeah.
like, once again, you guys go follow Corridor Residential Services, Residential Co. Wonderful people. I love what Bailey's doing with the women of FWA. If you are a spouse, a girlfriend, if you work in the industry, go get involved. And with that said, go follow us.
Yeah.
Go give us a like. Go subscribe.
Yeah.
Give us a share.
And if you want to, be nice. You know, Christmas is coming up. We
Throw
gotta
us
buy
$3 a month.
a whole bunch of Christmas gifts for our kids, man.
Yes, we do. Bro,
Well, you do.
Bro, my kid's cheapest Christmas
My
present
kid is
$150.
Yeah, my kid's fine with a box.
Hey, $150. I was like, is that that's like the most inexpensive thing? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't outgrown the imagination. He's fine with the box
Yeah.
for my son.
Well, with
but
that
he's
said,
only one.
Dan, take us out.
Build him straight. Build him sturdy. Build him
strong.
Build him strong. I messed that
I had
up. On
You
the
guys have a
live
wonderful
too.
Tuesday night.
Jesus.
We will see you guys again
Build him
live
strong. Build him
next
straight.
Tuesday,
Build him sturdy.
7 o'clock. Let's go.
Yes, indeed. Y'all take it easy. I don't know how to stop the live.
Fucking finish it. Fucking finish. End broadcast.
There.